Hello and welcome to Voicetv Nigeria. My name is Magdalene Palmer. Today I'm going to be taking you around the beautiful continent of Africa. Stay tuned. But first, I want you beautiful subscribers to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Maria Eho. This channel has the latest updates on relationships, on how you can build and achieve relationships online. Like and subscribe. Stay tuned. The whites are seriously planning to recolonize Africa. They have devalued our currency, taking away our factories and invading our natural resources. You can imagine the African leaders have to wake up and work against this. Hear what the former Minister of Agriculture, Audu Ugbe, has to say about this.
The tragedy of Nigeria began in 1986 when we did the structural adjustment program. When we were persuaded to devalue our currency every week for 32 years. When I went to school, and many of you are here, the Naira was $1.50. The Naira was almost £1 sterling. They came here, persuaded some brilliant men from Harvard and the World Bank that weekly devaluation was wonderful. 32 years of devaluing your currency until we hit 527. And they were still telling us that the Naira was still overvalued. That brought poverty, misery upon us. Then interest rates went to 30%. So nobody could build a factory, start a farm, produce anything, or create jobs. Because every time you bring in a shipload of rice, you also bring in a shipload of unemployment. Because you are transferring your wealth to sustain other economies. Somehow, Nigerians didn't notice it. So we became a nation of importers. Toothpicks. Toothpicks. Each year it cost us $18 million. Importing toothpicks. Tomato paste, $400 million. So you talked about tomatoes now. One basket in town now is less than 2,000 naira. The farmers are losing money because the processors don't have enough funds to set up factories. You are going to do tomato paste. It's food-grade stainless steel. You can't just use anything because you'll be putting poison in people's stomachs. 2 factories have started off. I believe by the middle of next year, we can comfortably tell importers of tomato paste to stop. But when you do, you make enemies. Even the rice we're trying to reduce, we have enemies, heavy enemies, people who can kill if they have a chance, because you're spoiling their business. And let nobody take it lightly. These guys have seized this country's economy. They've taken us hostage, and they have no intention of giving up. Because this is a huge market, a very sweet market, and they have taken control. This regime is unpopular, in part because it is trying to cut down imports and transfer the wealth to our rural people. And I'm saying it because I have been in this business for 41 years, and I can tell you some history. Abdullah Adamu is here. Import, milk, sugar, toothpicks, toothpaste, handkerchiefs, pencils, we don't make. To cure Nigerians of that malady will take a while. It will take a strong government. That's the truth. And they are not happy that we're cutting down. When we cut down, they lose money there. So you see all sorts of publications. We're telling lies. We're not growing rice. We're trying to demoralize the local farmers and make sure that the economy fails. That's the story of imports. Now, I read a story recently in the newspapers. The French ambassador, the champagne ambassador in Nigeria, gave an article to The Guardian. He said Nigerians love life. We are the biggest consumers of champagne on planet Earth, more than the French who make it. There are parties you attend in some places where they only drink champagne. Of course, the individual is free to spend his money, but his money comes from Nigeria's commonwealth. So on imports, it will take a while for us to get used to local goods and accept that we should consume what we produce and produce what we want to consume. So I take your point. We have to take stern measures to cut down on imports because these young boys and girls who have no jobs today are not going to allow us to carry on enjoying life at their expense. They need jobs. They need jobs. They are children. They've graduated, they've come back home to begin a second childhood because there's no factory to employ them. And the ministries can't take any more. But somebody is making sure you fail when you want to produce at home.
IMF, World Bank, all other institutions, they make African countries jump through hoops. Loans will never be able to pay. The US, when they borrow money, they're getting it in 1.5, 1.9 interest rate. Africans, when they get the same amount of money, they're paying 9, 10%. The people who don't need a break, they get a break. The ones who need a break, they don't get a break. The sheer survival of the World Bank, IMF, is based on the fact that African countries and many other developing countries do not succeed. Their success is based on our failure. That has to change. And guess who can make that change? We, the children of Africa, we, the Africans, are the ones who have to say, we know your game now. Enough is enough. We're not playing it anymore. And this is where the diaspora come in. There are more Ghanaian doctors in New York City than in the entire country of Ghana. There are more Nigerian doctors in LA than in the entire country of Nigeria. So let's be serious here. What Africa needs is capacity, capacity, capacity. And that capacity is in the diaspora. So it behooves us to bring the diaspora together. Let them understand what is really going on in our Africa. Diaspora are not going home. Diaspora are angry about Africa because they are not understanding the root cause of why Africa is where it is today. They think getting rid of a president will take care of the problem. Far from it. That president is just going to be replaced by another one who is going to equally suffer from the same difficult environment to work in. So let's look at an Africa that must be free to take care of herself, an Africa that's free from exploitation from outsiders. The multinationals who are stealing from Africa every day in broad daylight. I use an example of the DRC. If you ever fly very low over the DRC, you'll see tarmacs in the jungle. You'll see 747s flying into DRC, picking up minerals and flying right out. The same multinationals are responsible for arming young people and giving them MK-16s. Because why? Their satellites in the skies are telling them where that village is. There are lots of diamonds. So what do? Arm young people, drag them up, and send them to go chop off a few heads. The rest of the village runs away, so they come behind and do their illegal mining. We black people must understand what is really going on. Because what we are shown instead is, oh, look at those Africans killing each other. There are some serious games that have been played in Africa for far too long. And once we understand that, we can strategize as to how we can begin to bring the difference.
So, President of Tanzania, John Magufuli, has cancelled 10 billion US Chinese killer loan. Says it is only mad people and drunkards that will accept terms and conditions of the loan. Let's hear what he has to say about this.
So, fellow Africans and the diaspora, let us celebrate our hero, President John Paul Magufuli of Tanzania, after cancels this US dollar 10 billion Chinese loan. It is not easy. It is a great decision. We need the leaders in Africa like President John Paul Magufuli. I know there are some leaders who are doing very well, but President John Paul Magufuli is doing the best. We need African and diaspora to support him, to protect him. You know what? When I look at this clip, I enjoy something. While we are importing fish from China, the President John Paul Magufuli is teaching us how to fish or how to find the fish in our lake. Many of us, we know that we are eating fish from China, while we have lakes here in Africa. We have Lake Victoria, Lake Nyasa, Lake Tanganyika, Lake Turkana, and so on. But we are importing fish from China. But President John Paul Magufuli is still teaching us, instead of going and importing fish, let us do fishing here in our environment. So, fellow Africans, always, and I will repeat today, the reader always think about the next generation to come, but a politician always think about next election. That's the difference. That's the big difference. So I think President John Paul Magufuli is not a politician, he is a leader. He think about the next generation. And he said that only a drunkard would accept these terms, bad terms. If it is another reader, he can accept this bad or stupid term, and that is going to kill the nation. But His Excellency President John Paul Magufuli, we congratulate you, we as young Africans and Africans in general, and I beg other diaspora to share this good information that Africa, we have a good leader, we have an hero now.
What is happening here, and I will speak about it bluntly, and let me make this revelation to you. The Inspector General, the PSI, and myself have been under pressure by some quangles and all manner of spies that we should import police uniform. Listen to me very carefully. We will not import police uniform. Go and write another 10 headlines. We will not import police uniform from any country. We have to promote the local textile industry. Buy Kenya, build Kenya. How are we going to support our cotton farmers? How are we going to support our manufacturers and create jobs in our country? You know, this monkey business that has been going on for a period of time, we go to some shadowy corners and agree to import police uniform from some places and create excuses that isn't it simply outrageous that someone is saying we don't have material in Kenya? We have no problem providing our police with uniforms. We have actually paid for the new uniforms, and the new uniforms are being done. I asked the Principal Secretary in charge of the State Department of Interior, Dr. Kibicho, who chairs the technical team on the police reforms, to move around the country and look at the capacities we have in our factories, in our textile sector. He has visited Rivertex in Eldoret. He was in Nakuru yesterday. We have gone even to the EBZ zone. What is happening here, and I will speak about it bluntly, and let me make this revelation to you. The Inspector General, the PSI, and myself have been under pressure by some quangles and all manner of spies that we should import police uniform. Listen to me very carefully. We will not import police uniform. Go and write another 10 headlines. We will not import police uniform from any country. We have to promote the local textile industry. Buy Kenya, build Kenya. How are we going to support our cotton farmers? How are we going to support our manufacturers and create jobs in our country? You know, this monkey business that has been going on for a period of time, we go to some shadowy corners and agree to import police uniform from some places and create excuses that isn't it simply outrageous that someone is saying we don't have material in Kenya with the kind of textile sector that we have? So why would the government put budget resources to revive Rivertex and provide jobs in Eldoret? Then we proceed like fools the following day to import police uniforms from Turkey or from China or from wherever. We have already paid. We are making uniform for our police, and take it to the bank from me. We will not import uniform. No amount of pressure, manipulation, or anything will change that position. That style of life has come to an end in Kenya. It has come to an end, and no one is going to live that way. Our uniforms will be made. We have 600 tailors at NYS and huge teams at NYS that are working on this. We will make the uniforms for our forces in Kenya, create jobs for our people in Kenya, allow manufacturers in Kenya to supply government agencies. Sasa wewe na wakora wako mahali mlikubaliana mtanunua uniform, utaenda uwaeleze hivi, hatutanunua uniform kutoka kwingine. It's as simple as that, and you can write as many headlines as you want. We will not change that position. Na tuwache kudanganyana hapa. Hii ujeuri must come to an end in this country. Hii sasa unaenda huko, we will not do this kind of silly things that people have done over the years and try to mess up our country. We will ensure that everything that we need, that we can get in the country, we get it here. That is how we grow our industry. That is how we support our cotton farmers. That's how we support the manufacturing sector. The private sector understands what we are doing. Our president has been firm on this and has been speaking about this. So we can't live any other way. So if you thought that the headline is going to change our mind, now you know. Don't bother. Or if you want, you can go and do another 10 headlines. But